Now, for all of you that thought that COVID insanity was over, not so. Prior to the lockdowns and the insanity of the past 3+ years, I used to respect doctors. But these days, stories like this make that impossible. The Epoch Times published a story yesterday about a terminally ill Alberta woman who was removed from an organ transplant list because she was unvaccinated against COVID-19 and continues to be denied access to the medical procedure even after obtaining an independent medical report showing that she has natural immunity, said the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, JCCF. Sheila Annette Lewis has been challenging the constitutionality of the vaccine requirement put in place by Alberta Health Services for transplant candidates for some time now. Back on March 28th, Lewis provided her doctors in the Alberta transplant program with a privately funded medical report which established that she has strong natural immunity to COVID-19 and has overcome previous COVID-19 infections, the JCCF said in a press release issued April 18th. The report was provided by the Connexus Bioinformatics Corporation on March 24th. The Connexus report said Lewis's blood sample clearly supports the presence of SARS-CoV-2 immunoreactivity. It also noted that she was likely infected with the disease around mid-September 2021 and was reinfected again more recently and thus has, and I quote, extremely high levels of antibodies against SARS-CoV-2. Now, it's not the first time Lewis was hoping that sanity would prevail in her case. Nearly a year ago, she asked her physicians to test her blood for COVID-19 antibodies to see if she was naturally immune, and of course, they refused to do so. Remind me again, who pays the salaries of these clowns? After Lewis provided her Connexus report, one of her transplant physicians informed her on April 3rd that despite the test results, nothing had changed in regards to healthcare policies pertaining to COVID-19 vaccination requirements, and that she would still need to receive the vaccines before the hospital would give her an organ transplant, the JCCF said in its press release. Nothing except the fact that no government health agency anywhere is now stating publicly that the COVID-19 vaccines are guaranteed to stop the transmission or acquisition of COVID-19, right? The physician told her that the Connexus report concluded that even with natural immunity, she would need a booster dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. However, the report does not say anything about Ms. Lewis needing a booster dose of the COVID-19 vaccine to maintain natural immunity, JCCF said. It doesn't need to, Sheila. You're not dealing with doctors, but demigods, darling. Legends in their own minds. In case you didn't know it, Alberta lifted all COVID-19 related mandatory public health restrictions on June 14th, 2022. A guideline from the Alberta government listing a number of routine immunizations that adult organ transplant candidates are required to receive prior to a transplant says patients should have primary series of 3 doses of COVID-19 vaccines, while booster shots are needed at least 6 months after primary series or previous booster dose. The guidelines published on March 20th is a revision of immunization principles for transplant recipients issued originally on June 1st, 2022. Given once again, we all know today, the only question I have is why? Why these guidelines? JCCF said it has sent a demand letter to Alberta Health Services, the Alberta Hospital, and Lewis's transplant physicians, requesting that they accept her now established natural immunity to COVID-19 as an alternative to COVID-19 vaccination and reinstate her to the high priority transplant wait list by April 21st, 2023. The transplant program team, AHS, and the hospital ought to accept Ms. Lewis's natural immunity to COVID-19 as an alternative to COVID-19 vaccination and reinstate her to the high priority transplant list immediately, Alison Pejovic, Lewis's legal counsel, said in the JCCF press release. There is no principled medical or scientific reason to continue to deny Ms. Lewis a life-saving organ transplant. You mean because we said so isn't enough for you, Alison? Come on. Lewis previously took AHS, an Alberta hospital where she would receive her transplant, and 6 transplant program physicians to court. But surprisingly, well, not so, I guess, she was unsuccessful at both the Alberta Court of Queen's Bench and the Alberta Court of Appeal in 2022. JCCF stated, both courts found that the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the Alberta Bill of Rights do not apply to COVID-19 vaccine policies developed by the AHS and other defendants. I wonder if the judges would have ruled the same way had Sheila Lewis been their wife, mother, or sister. Lewis has filed an application with the Supreme Court of Canada asking it to hear her appeal. The country's highest court has not yet decided whether it will do so, JCCF said. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure they'll agree to it as soon as she's dead. Anyway, I thank you for watching. Please post any comments you have in the comment section. You can always follow me on my Rumble and my Locals account. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so, and also share the channel with others. And of course, like I said, check out some of the past videos, post your comments, and I will see you next time.